Do you believe that there are many realities in this universe? All of space and time. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. A long time ago, there was a girl living in a royal palace where hierarchy strictly applied. Everything was controlled by the royals. This girl came from a low-class status and lived as a palace maid and had a very ordinary life every day, where she accompanied and took care of one of the royal family members. Despite of her fixed task and schedule every day, she always made time to go to the field near the forest alone. She simply just lay down and daydreaming there. Castle in the clouds. Thoughts are energy, and like energy, they cannot be destroyed, only transformed. What we think, we create. What's so important about having daydreaming as a routine? Every time she was daydreaming, she built her own castle in the clouds. She got pretty details about how the castle built, the architecture, the interior, and all the little details. Every time she built that castle in her mind, she was actually communicating with the universe. Don't we all know that the universe communicates through energy? The universe views our thoughts and feelings as energy. Every time we think and feel, we're like sending message to the universe. The universe will then try to match that energy and send more of the same energy to us. That's why reality is called a product of our thoughts and feelings. So, our thoughts create our feelings. Then our thoughts and feelings create energy. And our energy will attract another similar matching energy, and then it will create our reality. Every thoughts and feelings carry different energy frequencies. Feelings of joy, love, gratitude, freedom, or abundance carry higher frequency than the feelings of hurt, anger, stress, jealousy, or frustration. What exactly the girl communicated to the universe? Long before she understood about the whole thing about energy, frequency, and vibration, she used to have no control over her thoughts and feelings. Everything had been controlled by her circumstances. She had little to no choice with her low-class status that forced her to work at a young age to make ends meet. Once she was able to enter the palace as a maid, her life became more secure, but the heaviness and tension that she felt since childhood never left. She was so used with a certain pattern of thinking and feeling for a very long time that she kept broadcasting the same energy of stress over and over again. And her life became monotonous once again. She ended up feeling bored with her life. Sometimes she was happy, sometimes she was sad, but more often than not, she felt empty. Without realizing it, she had been living in a survival mode for a very long time, sending survival energy to the universe, and in return, the universe sent those energy back to her in the form of experiences that were similar to the energy she sent. Tired of living like that, she decided to try new things. She realized that if she couldn't change her circumstances, or at least not in an instant, she could change her vibration first. She was shifting her energy by changing her thoughts and feelings. By creating that castle in her mind, she can feel more of elevated feelings like joy, love, and abundance. Then she brought those feelings into her daily life. It wasn't easy at first. She constantly got pulled down into her old pattern. But she kept returning to her awareness, raising her vibrations every time she fell. The more time she spent on daydreaming, the better she knew about herself. That's when she started to know what kind of life she truly wants to live. That castle that she built is the representative of her dream life. And so she continued to build that castle in her mind to every little details. You don't get to choose how you start in the world, but you do get to choose what you make of it. Flower crown. Sometimes we create a new version of ourselves to survive or thrive, and that becomes our alter ego. Whenever she was about to start her daydreaming routine, she would always pick up a huge flower and wear it as a crown. This sounds silly, but whenever she had that flower crown on her head, she was like becoming her future self and stepping into her dream life. This is important because if she could plan her castle to every detail, but she was still feeling and acting like a maid, she could never enter that castle. Flower crown here talks about normalizing something that we don't have yet. Because she dreamed of her future self as a beautiful flower queen living in the castle over the clouds, the girl surrounded herself with flowers, wore a flower crown, and gazing over the clouds every day, as much as she could. She would also embody how would a queen will think, feel, and act in certain circumstances. She was changing her point of view from a maid girl to a queen, her other version that she'd been dreaming of. She stepped into her reality, timeline, and frequency. After every session and she went back to her daily life again, she felt like she was still that queen, still wearing the crown, still feeling elated, still having that energy and attitude of a queen. She was exposing herself to the possibility of a new life. The more she was doing this, the more she would be available to that new reality that she created, the more normal it felt. And when the reality finally came, she was already there. The key. What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create. When we talk about energy, frequency, and vibrancy, the most important thing to do is to tap into the right frequency. After doing this exercise for a while, she was finally feeling familiar with that new feeling, energy, and frequency. One day, she saw her future self handed her a key. At this point, she was so sure that it was herself handed her that key. She truly believed that it was possible for her to access that new reality. The key here is to believe it first. Without it, nothing will ever change. She would continue to live with her same old familiar pattern of stress and anxiety that would attract similar experience and hence created similar future. Belief is about matching your thoughts and your feelings. She could think that she's a queen as much as she wanted, but if she still felt small, insecure, or inferior, there was a disconnection between her brain and her body. Believing is more important than the how question. If deep down in our heart, we don't believe that we actually able and worthy to live in abundance, then no amount of plan or effort will take us there. Lighter like butterflies. To accomplish great things, we must not only act but also dream, not only plan but also believe. We know that dream without action is useless, but just like the quote, we must not only act but also dream. So it needs both action and alignment. When we are already vibrating at the right frequency, thinking the right thoughts, believe the right thing, feeling elevated, our internal world is in alignment with our desired future. When this happens, we don't struggle or force things to happen. Everything feels effortless. In my painting, between the girl and her future version of her, there are a lot of butterflies flying around. Butterflies are associated with soul and its journey through life. They represent spiritual awakening, rebirth, new life, change, creativity, freedom, joy, and abundance. We can choose the hard way to make our dreams come true by working harder, grinding non-stop, and burnout. Or we can choose the lighter, softer way where we shift our energy first into the reality we want. Then we let our intuition enlighten and lead us to do things we need to do and guide us one step closer each into the reality we want. Time. Don't rush something you want to last forever. We know that everything takes time. All the good things take time. Be it if we choose the hard way or the softer way, everything still takes time. Paying attention to how the universe works will help us a lot. We know that the universe works with energy, frequency, and vibration. So, time doesn't really matter here. Besides, we can't control time, we can only use it. The best thing we can do is to detach from when will it happen. Detachment creates a sense of ease, calm, softness, and effortless. As we learned before about choosing the softer way, prioritize being aligned while doing the work that need to be done is the best way compared to rushing ourselves and only focus on when will it come. The thing is, when we always focus on when will it come, it creates desperation, lack, and negative energy. That will repel all the good things that the universe actually wants to give us. So, don't rush.